Hey, what is going on, pros and PROesses? It's KMDNHS123 and welcome back to another sit-down commentary session. Again, letting the old COD 4 gameplay play in the background. It is domination on Overgrown, not one of my more favourite maps, but you know, if you get your positioning right, you can own some noobs. The final score of this game is 34-6. So again, decent score, but you know, this game is easy and cool still. So today's topic is, I mean, it's a number of questions in one title, but the actual topic is, are battery cars / hybrid any good? Now, obviously, there's a couple things to talk about straight away. We are in the first stages of like battery cars. If that makes sense. Like we're in the first phase of obviously they've only really bumped up in like the last few years, and more and more battery cars are coming out. But to be honest, they're not proven. They're bad for the environment, and I'll explain all of that. Don't get me wrong. But they're bad for the environment, and it is really the first stage. So obviously it's gonna obviously in the future, when they obviously research better batteries, better this, better that, the technology will get better and improve. But as I said, there's a number of questions, stuff surrounding the whole hype of battery and hybrid cars. So first off, I hate battery hybrid cars personally because they are more environmentally damaging to the environment. Personally, because of the facts I will tell you guys. So there is various topics and stuff I've just researched, looked and about. And the first thing is, we all know Top Gear, right? So they did a test of the Toyota Prius hybrid, yeah, the battery and the battery and part engine car, the ugly Toyota Prius car, yeah. So around the Top Gear test track, they drove around it. I think it was 40 or 50 miles an hour, so not even that fast. Okay, 40 miles an hour, and then they had a M6. They had an M6. I think like the M Sport, the Coupe Sport, one of the big boys, the V6 one. Now, you're gonna think, oh yeah, the V6, M6 is gonna use more fuel, be bad for the environment. But again, you guys, or whoever thinks that is obviously too up into the battery car hype because they don't understand what actually is going on in the technology engine. So, whereas the PROesse 1.5, it's got a 1.5 engine in it. Okay, so 1.5, so it's not even that big of an engine in it. So around the track at 50 miles an hour, the battery car was screaming its, well, not screaming its nuts off, but it was having to work a lot harder with its little 1.5 engine, having to go around the track, and then the M6 was just cruising around the track using hardly any power whatsoever because it was such a big engine and it was so refined that it used less fuel and produced less emissions on their test around that track than the Toyota Prius hybrid. Plus, not to mention all the carbon footprint on to make the PROesse in the first place. So straight away, there's one fact, that a V6, M6, M Sport, probably any other modern car, is more efficient than a Prius like that. And I know you're thinking, oh well, that's around the, racing it around, a track, and I'm like, no, that's 50 miles an hour around the track. You're going to be doing 60, 70 on the motorway, so it's even going to be worse. You know what I mean? Think about it, guys. So, and another thing is, the Mercedes S-Class. So we all know the S-Class is a nice big luxury car, right? With a fat ass engine in it. And again, it was on Top Gear again, and they were comparing it to a Prius, and they said, what do you think, won the award for, like recycled parts? Well, I think it was some award for like a green production car. Obviously, like I was telling you guys about the carbon footprint of the Prius. So what do you guys think won? Again, most people are going to say the Prius, but no, I said the Mercedes. And what did he say? He said the S-Class as well, which is true. The Prius has to use so much new resources to make these batteries. I said the carbon footprint on it is crazy. Again, the S-Class has been made using such recycled materials, and the engine is so refined and so well built, that it won the award rather than a Prius. Again, another point that a massive S-Class is more efficient to the environment than a Prius. Now, we obviously have the point of batteries. Now, we know batteries obviously bad for the environment, and another thing, the batteries may only last, 10 years tops in the Priuses, so what they have to do with the batteries, they're obviously bad for the environment, so they have to be disposed of, which means more carbon footprint in the aftermath, whereas a normal engine will last you easy, 200, 300,000 miles, modern engines, easy, which is much less of a carbon footprint than these, Prius batteries. And again, to make the Prius, and again, it was on Top Gear, they said how they were made. They said the battery foam, the battery foam made whatever that goes into the batteries, it comes from I don't know, somewhere in Russia, and then the zinc carbon rubbish, which goes into the battery again, comes out from mines in I don't know, mines in Canada or somewhere, you know, and then all these materials get, you know, shipped, you know, to Japan, you know, to get put in the car. So again, that's carbon footprint to get sent away to Japan, and they get sent back to America, you know, and then they get sent to around the rest of the world to be, you know, to be shipped. You know, the batteries are made and then shipped somewhere else to be put in China into the car. So you have to think the carbon footprint on making these batteries is crazy. Think of all that fuel and time to get, you know, the minerals and stuff required for these massive batteries. And again, not to mention they have a 10, you know, have at least a 10-year, you know, life cycle on it, which is not a lot whatsoever. You know, just think in 10 years when all these batteries are going to have to be replaced, it's not going to be good, and they have to make more batteries, which is more of a carbon footprint on the car. So really have to think, really have to do some research before you go, oh yeah, battery cars are good, you know. And again, I can prove, you know, I drive not a fairly, you know, drinky fuel car, but you know, I do have a bigger engine in my, you know, my car, and it is really good on longer journeys, you know, compared to a battery car and whatever. You know, not to mention that battery cars are all ugly as hell. I mean, the BMW i8 looks beautiful. I have to admit, the BMW i8 is beautiful. But you know, even Jeremy Kyle said it. Even Top Gear said it. Yes, the i3 and the BMW i8 may be, you know, the most current, you know, next gen battery cars out there, but there's still, you know, a lot of work to be done on them. Like, you know, you still have to think about, you know, charging points and electric points. And they even said, even with this fast charge cycle they've got, you know, because people obviously, you know, if you go for a long drive, you know, and you run out of battery use, you know, obviously you're not going to have to wait a couple hours for it to get charged. People want it to be instant, like you could put a fuel in the car and it'd be instant. So they even said, even with this quick charge technology, it's still knackering the batteries. Like, again, it probably decreases battery life by, they said, half. And that's not even good. So, again, but like I said, to my point, it's just the beginning of, you know, it's the first generation of, you know, batteries. And obviously, like I said, in the future, once they invent better batteries and stuff, you know, when they eventually do, then obviously we can, you know, explore the technology better. But, you know, there's a whole series and questions and a whole, you know, like, not controversy, but, you know, like a whole debate discussing battery cars and hybrid cars. And even with fully battery cars, you know, they still contain a battery, you know, and all that. And like I said, even hybrids, they still contain an engine. So, you know, it's, again, like I said, on longer journeys. And again, I'm not sure what business you guys work in or whatever, but, you know, my dad works for a company and he gets a company car, and the company were talking about, you know, getting hybrid cars, but they've done some research and stuff, and there was a new policy introduced where they said, because a lot of, you know, my dad's company does, you know, a lot of motorway driving, again, like I said, with the Prius at a higher speed uses more, you know, has a higher carbon footprint than, say, an M6 or even a 2-litre turbo diesel car. They said hybrid cars are actually banned on their list now, because they were going to be on the list, but they were banned because they produce more of a carbon footprint, they produce more CO2, which means that, you know, than certain cars. So that means the tax will be higher. So they have to stick with standard 2-litre engines, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's because the normal engine has been so much refined. It's just like when the normal engines first come out, they were smoky and bad, but now they're getting really refined, and now obviously that's what's happened to battery. Give it, you know, so many years, and they'll be obviously much more better technology. Anyways, question is to you guys: do you think battery cars are good? You know, do you think hybrids are good, or do you think they're worse for the environment? Let me know in the comments, guys, because it's always good to hear your views and opinions. So this gameplay is coming to an end now. Like I said, final score was 34 to 6. I did do a bit of camping, but I don't know, it's just a really good view, and I really like the view up there. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I shall see all of you later.